Hello, I'm Professor William Watkin, and I've neglected my studies of the role of Satanism in the development of the Petrarchan sonnet to say, these are the 7 truths of Trump. Fact Checker recently showed that the presidential candidate Donald Trump lies 92% of the time, which is amazing even for someone running for public office. But the focus on his lying has obscured what I would call his truths. Calm down though. I accept Trump is an outrageous liar, but while we've all focused on the shock and outrage of his consistent lying, on Mexicans, on women, on where he's touched women, on Russia, on Clinton, on all his rivals, on his businesses, on his taxes, on climate change, on who will pay for the wall, and on which is his favourite member of One Direction, we've tended to ignore his truths. No, I don't mean Mexicans are rapists and women with flat chests can't be tens, or even that some aspects of the Clintons are dodgy. I mean rather the truths that he reveals inadvertently about the world in which we live today. With the internet and all that jazz, facts, stats and data are readily available so that we all tend to think that the truth and meaning are just what pops up on a graph when we Google it. Because of this, we are really shocked that we live in a post-fact age all of a sudden, where being an expert and having data is actually a cause for suspicion. When Trump, Farage, Clinton, Boris Johnson and the Brexiteers lie, and we Liberals call them on it, we don't then understand why folks at large don't get it and vote accordingly. Truth is, the meaning of a statement is not to be found most times in the content of the statement. Its truth is, and indeed never was, in the meanings of words used. All facts are pretty much contestable, either because you can supply counter data, or you can use any manner of techniques to provide alternate readings. This, however, does not damage the truth of the statement, because the truth of the statement is not what it says, but the meanings that surround why it was said, that it could be said, that when it was said last year it had one effect, and that now you say it this year it's different, and so on. In short, the truth of the statement is not what it says, but what it shows and what it does. We philosophers call this the intelligibility or communicability of stuff, after Foucault and Kant. Don't worry, they're not running for president or members of UKIP, so you don't have to think about them. Oh, and they're not on Twitter because they're dead, so you can't even troll them. So ignoring the content of Trump's late-night tweets and blurts, which are 91% likely to be false, let's pay attention to the truth of them instead, or what they reveal about us. Number 1. Trump is funny, politics is entertainment. It doesn't really matter what Trump says, really. It's the way he tells them. He just has great comic timing and delivery, and that alone is enough to give him the edge over all the other political stiffs. Trump in another life would be an edgy stand-up comic or shock jock, and no one would worry about him destroying NATO, which tells us that politics is increasingly a form of entertainment. What politicians do, we could mainly care less about, especially in the states where they can do very little. All that interests us is diversion on a daily basis that is cute enough to be tweeted in the morning and which we can post someone else's shocked response to on Facebook once the kids are in bed. Number 2. Trump is mostly being sarcastic. Now this is a tricky one because it means agreeing with him, but basically he is giving us a daily stand-up routine, it's just that he's booked the wrong kind of venues. Time and again, if we stop for a moment being so outraged, we have to admit that he doesn't intend the Mexicans to pay for the wall, that he doesn't really think that Hillary should be locked up. He's just messing with us and our predilection to be shocked. Which leads me to number 3. We love to be shocked. Comedy is all about saying what you shouldn't say and then diffusing it with nervous laughter. Tell the truth, isn't this the most enjoyable election ever simply because it's so appalling? Don't we like to be appalled? Aren't we enjoying ourselves? Or at least we were until it turns out he sexually assaulted at least 10 women. Being offended is the newest form of online sport after all, called trolling, which means number 4. Trump is just one great troll. One great troll on democracy. Trump is simply trolling the democratic process. He's taken on an exaggerated persona and is using social media to drive the mainstream media debates with an atmosphere of fake offence and false outrage. Look at Clinton in any debate with him and see how hard it is for her to take Trump seriously. She knows what he's doing, she knows him. He's Donald to her. She gets the fact he's trolling her. She's just gambling on the fact that we're not quite ready for a troll in head office. Which leads to 4A. That's why he stalked Clinton in the second debate. When he creeped around her, stalking her, he was giving us a clue, a comedic mime of what he is really all about. He tweets like a troll, he looks like a troll, He talks like a troll, and he also walks and stalks like one. Number 5. Just because we can't say it doesn't mean we don't think it. In fact, it makes us think it all the more and with greater force. Foucault, remember him, dead French guy with bald head and great teeth. I got beautiful teeth, I got the most amazing teeth, your teeth are losers' teeth, my teeth are great, believe me, it's true. Sorry about that, I can't resist a bit of trumping every now and again. Once said, the more the Victorians couldn't talk about sex, the more they ended up talking about it, until all they did was talk about sex. The same seems to have happened with racism both in the US and the UK, and particularly sexism in the US. People want Trump to say it because they deeply feel it, but feel themselves ashamed to say it. Number 6. People want walls. In the global age where identity of all kinds, but particularly national identity, is collapsing, people want to build actual and tangible barriers to stop their sense of self leaking away entirely. They don't care if the walls don't work, they just like to have them around because they make them feel cozy, if you can feel cozy in the deserts of New Mexico. Finally, number 7. The ready availability of facts devalues them. There is something about the ease of access to facts and data and the like which is making us highly suspicious of any fact-based narratives. Trump can lie all he wants and be caught out within minutes using the internet, but that just makes his lies all the more believable to lots of people. Trump has literally trumped the collective, impersonal, number-driven meaning of the internet with a deeper truth. One man's belief, delivered with pizzazz, that chimes with the forbidden, and which they all kind of deep down know is a satire on democracy, freedom of speech and civility, than a serious bid for office. So I suggest we fact-check the fact-checkers on this. Trump may lie 91% of the time, but every tweet he makes, every fact he fakes, he's revealing the truth of our contemporary political age 100%. Truth is, Trump is trolling democracy and his whole campaign is one outlandish and offensive joke. The only issue is, what if the Oval Office turns out to be his punchline? You see, it's one thing to troll the electoral process to point out it's broken. It's another to march into the room as president and say, "Good evening, NATO. Want to hear how you're a bunch of losers? Gonna build me a wall, a beautiful wall, and I'm gonna make you guys pay for it." Trump out.